I'm so excited for today's video because we're hosting a magical ballerina tea party. With delicate bows, dainty teacups, and a whole lot of giggles, this sweet celebration truly danced its way into our hearts. Whether you're planning your own little ballerina bash or just love a good tea party, you won't want to miss this one. Let me show you how you too can create something as beautiful or even more for your little ones. Start the day prior. Make sure you have a pre-planned menu for your big day. The girls have been asking for jello, so I'm making a few cups and placing in the fridge to set overnight. The theme colors are white and pink, so these beautiful crumbled copycat cookies with pink frosting are perfect. Begin by preparing the soft and buttery cookies. Into a large mixing bowl with a paddle attachment, cream together 3/4 cup of room temperature softened butter and 3/4 cup of granulated sugar until smooth and fluffy. Next, gently mix in 2 eggs and 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. Now it's time to build the structure of our cookie. In a sifter, add 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Sift and continue mixing on low until just combined. Once mixed, cover the bowl with plastic wrap and allow the dough to rest in the fridge for 1 hour. After the dough is nice and chilled, preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and line a baking tray with parchment paper. Scoop the dough into even chunks, roll them into small balls, and place them about 2 inches apart on the parchment paper. With the help of a flat bottom glass and a small piece of parchment, gently press each one down until it's a lovely 1/2 inch tall disc, ready for baking. Into the oven they go for 12 to 16 minutes, just until the edges begin to whisper golden promises of deliciousness. Once baked, move them to a cooling rack and let them rest while we prepare the icing. In a mixing bowl, blend together 6 ounces of softened room temperature butter with 3 cups of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Be sure to use a deep bowl or a vessel with tall sides to prevent the powdered sugar from flying out during mixing. Stir in 2 tablespoons of half and half and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. For the ballerina touch, add a drop or 2 of pink food coloring. Mix in until the frosting is silky and smooth. If it feels too stiff, simply add a touch more of half and half. This icing is as lovely as a satin ribbon on a ballet slipper. To frost, transfer the frosting to a piping bag with a nozzle of your choice. I'm using Wilton 1M, and spread or pipe the icing onto our cooled cookies, swirling outward in soft circles, like pirouettes on a stage. I'm swirling these beautiful rosettes and they look so pretty, too pretty to eat. Let them set for 30 minutes before serving or store them in the fridge for up to 3 days, though I promise they won't last that long. And there you have it, the perfect cookie for a ballerina tea party, filled with giggles, grace, and just the right amount of sugar. Now for one of the most magical moments of our ballerina tea party, the ballerina Barbie doll cake. This cake has been a dream of mine for so long, something I imagine bringing to life for my little girls. Now let's talk frosting. You'll start with 12 ounces of mascarpone cheese, softened at room temperature. Add it to your stand mixer and give it a gentle mix. Slowly, gradually pour in 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, followed by 1 cup of powdered sugar and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I always recommend adding the sugar to taste. After all, sweetness is a personal preference and you want just the right balance. For this celebration, I chose my go-to Chantilly cake recipe, a dreamy, moist vanilla cake that I truly believe is the best I've ever tasted. Begin by placing your cake on a beautiful cake stand. But here's a helpful tip. Add a generous swirl of frosting right at the center of the stand before placing your first cake layer. This will act as an anchor, keeping your cake from sliding around during assembly. Now, tip number 2. To keep your cake stand clean while frosting, tuck strips of parchment paper under the edges of the cake. Once you're done, simply slide them out for a neat finish. Now for the layering. Start with the delicate sponge cake base, followed by a generous drizzle of berry syrup to soak each layer with sweet, fruity goodness. Then comes a dreamy cloud of mascarpone frosting and a delightful handful of fresh berries. Keep repeating this delicious sequence, cake, syrup, frosting, berries, until all your layers are complete. Now cover the top with plastic wrap and place in the fridge to chill and set. This helps the layers stay in place when slicing. Now that the cake is chilling, it's time to whip up what I truly believe is the best buttercream frosting. I've searched far and wide, and after many not so great attempts, I found the one. Ready? You'll need 6 sticks of softened room temperature butter, 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 1 teaspoon of salt. The secret is in the ratio, always 1 to half. So if you're using 1 pound of butter, use half a pound of powdered sugar. But the real magic lies in the technique. You will need to whip the butter for at least 20 minutes. Yes, 20. 30 if you really want to go for gold. And don't worry, it won't separate. It will transform into a silky, luxurious, bridal gown smooth buttercream. Once whipped to perfection, this buttercream is silky, cloud-like, and perfect for swirling into elegant ruffles that become the Barbie's dress. Add a few drops of food coloring to match a ballerina theme. I chose a vivid hot pink to reflect the Barbie's iconic flair, and place the frosting in the fridge for 15 to 20 minutes to firm up a bit. Now back to our cake. Once chilled, take a sharp knife and begin sculpting the top layers into a graceful dome shape. This will become the ballerina's voluminous skirt. I found the perfect Barbie ballerina doll, and confession, yes, I removed the legs so she could fit neatly into the center of the cake. A little savage, I know, but necessary. Continue shaping the top until you're happy with the smoothness and symmetry. Use any remaining mascarpone frosting to give the outer surface a smooth white base, like a fresh canvas for your artistry. For the longest time, I thought it would be too complicated. After all, I'm not a professional baker. How could I make something so pretty and still delicious? I learned that the secret, as it turns out, is having the perfect cake recipe paired with a light and fluffy buttercream frosting. Once you master these two, the rest becomes a graceful dance, simple, elegant, and oh, so rewarding. Now comes the most exciting part, piping the buttercream rosettes. Transfer your chilled buttercream into a piping bag fitted with the flower tip and begin at the top of the skirt, working your way down in soft swirling motions. I switched frosting colors along the way to create more visual interest, and you can let your creativity shine here. Don't forget to pipe small rosettes in between larger ones to cover any gaps and create that full flowing effect. I did pop the cake and frosting in and out of the fridge a few times during this process, especially when the buttercream started to soften. I'm not gonna lie, I was incredibly nervous creating this little masterpiece for the first time, but I really wanted to surprise my girls. They are such wonderful daughters, and they deserve the world. I'd do anything to see those precious smiles on their faces. And now just take a moment to admire your work. I couldn't believe how beautiful my first ballerina cake turned out. Delicate, elegant, and full of love. I was nervous at first, but I'm so glad I took the leap. If you've ever dreamed of making something like this, I promise you can do it too. And when you see the joy on your little ones' faces, their sparkling eyes and exciting giggles, you'll know it was all worth it.
I already knew what it looked like, Mom.
What is that?
After a busy day of baking and buttercream magic, I tucked everything safely into the fridge and began transforming our space into a ballerina's dream. I wanted to finish the floral arrangements. I picked up the most beautiful pink carnations and baby's breath and styled them in vintage sugar and cream pots from a tea set. Such a wonderful alternative to traditional vases, and they match a tea party theme perfectly. My little ballerinas had a blast while Daddy blew up the balloons. Before we knew it, the guirlande was ready and the room was full of joy. Once everything was in place, I called it a night, heart full, hands a little tired, and excitement bubbling for the day to come. The next morning, I woke up positively glowing with anticipation. It was the day, our Ballerina Tea Party. I set out to create a tablescape worthy of twirls and tutus. One by one, I unpacked the most darling ballerina trinkets I had lovingly collected, sweet finds from Amazon that added the perfect whimsical touches. I will link them all in the notes below because they truly brought the table to life. Then came one of my favorite parts, transforming my little girls into ballerinas. We picked out their tutus, slipped on their tights, and tied their satin bows. Their giggles filled the room as I carefully styled their hair into sweet little buns. Now, they haven't quite embraced the classic beauty is pain motto just yet. Let's just say there were a few dramatic sighs over bobby pins. But oh, the final look, they were breathtaking. Miniature ballerinas in every sense. And because I take my role as a Ballerina Tea Party hostess very seriously, I made sure to dress the part. I treated myself to the most exquisite tutu-inspired dress, adorned with soft layers of tulle, delicate embroidery, and a beautifully crafted corset. With just an hour before guests arrived, I dove into the final preparations. I made our signature ham and cheese sandwiches, kids' favorite, and added a warm touch by baking some buttery croissant versions too, because who can resist a flaky croissant? I arranged the treats I had picked up from the store, dainty cookies, pretty pastries, and gave everything a final sparkle. And then, magic. The table was picture perfect. The soft hum of ballet music played in the background, and the girls' eyes lit up the moment they saw it all come together. They twirled, they laughed, and in that moment, surrounded by love, lace, and laughter, my heart overflowed with joy. It was more than a tea party, it was a memory, stitched together with sweetness, sparkle, and a whole lot of love. I had delicate little ballerina dresses for all the girls, and the moment they put them on, the magic began. They twirled, danced, and swayed with carefree joy, like petals floating in the breeze. It was so dreamy to watch, each movement soft and dainty, their smiles glowing with delight. It was the perfect ballerina tea party scene, graceful, innocent, and absolutely beautiful. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you love tea parties, be sure to check out my playlist filled with beautiful themed ideas to help you host the most magical tea parties. Thanks for watching. See you next time.